when I said, that's all right, we're going to charge you 50% tariff on everything you sell into America. They said, well, like we said, we'll say yes. And every single country agreed, and every drug company agreed. So we have most favored nation. So we were paying the highest drug prices in the world. Now we're paying the lowest drug prices.
Hello.
So that pill that I talked about would go from $10 to $20.
Hello, motherfuckers. How are ya?
Hard to believe, but it's true. So it's not like you cut it in the middle. You just had to go up a little bit, but a little bit is a doubling of a price. So a little bit's a lot. So the pill would go from $10 to $20, and we'd go from
What's up, gang?
$130.
This just started like 5 minutes ago.
Think of that. So we would get, if you remember, some of you were at the news conference I had in my first term where I got the prices down 1/8%, 1/4% my first term. And I was so proud of it because drug prices hadn't come down in 28 years, and I was the first one to do it.
No, he was not on time. He was an hour late.
I'm getting them down, not 1/8%. I'm getting them down 400, 500, 600.
Thummy? No
if
idea.
you want to use it a different way, you could say 70%, 80%, 90%, 50%. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. And I got that through, well, everybody knew it was taking place, but we paid the highest prices anywhere in the world. Now we're paying the lowest prices anywhere in the world, and the press refuses to write about it. I think it's the biggest thing. And for healthcare, you know, so much of it is prescription drug prices and drug prices. And with them coming down, the healthcare is going to come down very substantially. We recently added nearly 1,000 low-cost generics too, as I said, and that's, 1,000 drugs, and it's all on. And this was not
It's hot.
This was not given by me. This was given by Dr. Oz and Bobby, and I, wasn't sure whether or not I loved the idea, but they said we want to use Trump. TrumpRx.gov is what it is, and it's the hottest site I think anywhere on the planet, from what I understand, Bobby. Right? It's really great. People are calling up and they're buying drugs for literally a fraction of the price, and it should be the biggest story. And on that alone, we should win the midterms. On that alone, we should win the midterms. But the press doesn't talk about it. It's the biggest thing to happen in the drug industry ever, maybe. Ever. And the press doesn't even want to write stories.
No, that would be morphine.
We made the largest ever investment in U.S. military,
morphine.
$1 trillion, and we're asking actually for $1.5 trillion for the coming year. And we have the strongest military anywhere in the world, as you know.
Wait, the 1.5 trillion is for 1 year?
Venezuela, that worked out very
1 year?
doing really equally as well with, but again, people don't want to write about it, with Iran. Iran is very much intent. They want very much to make a deal. So far, they haven't gotten there. We're not satisfied with it, but we will be. We will be either that or we'll have to just finish the job. But their Navy is gone, as I've said 1,000 times. Their Navy is gone. Their Air Force is gone. Everything's gone, and they're negotiating on fumes. But we'll see what happens. Maybe we have to go back and finish it. Maybe we don't. Right now, I mean, you can speak to Steve Witkoff and Jared. They're doing a good job. But
this guy is
right
so
now,
fucked.
I think,
he's so fucked. He has no way out.
it looks like they want to just make a deal. They want to. They have. I don't think they have a choice. They're just going back to the internet because they're getting clobbered. Their economy is in free fall.
Dude, he's so fucked.
250% inflation.
He knows he's fucked.
No
You can tell
value.
by the way he's talking.
Their whole economic system is broken down. They thought they were going to outweight me. We'll outweigh him. He's got the midterms. I don't care about the midterms. Look what happened last night. That was the prelude to the midterms. People understand it. They know that, very simple, Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon.
And why are they not negotiating that whatsoever?
For us. And we've had great support from other nations, by the way. We don't need it at all, but we've had great support from other nations. The problem is you always get the support when you don't need it. When you need it, you don't get the support. With Operation Epic Fury, our warriors are ensuring that the world's #1 state sponsor of terror never obtains a nuclear weapon, and they won't. Under the leadership of Vice President J.D. Vance, very proud of this, the White House Task Force to eliminate fraud is waging war on waste, fraud, theft, and abuse like nobody's ever seen before.
Brother,
He
you
looks
literally...
like Elliot Ness. Do you ever see Elliot?
You pardoned more fraudsters than any American president throughout history. You even pardoned a guy who committed millions of dollars worth of fraud, and then he committed fraud again and was arrested again, and then you pardoned him again.
Billions and billions of dollars, and I just said, that's good. He said, you haven't seen anything yet. Just said that. And, if he does really great, we'll have a balanced budget without having to do anything.
Iran is
This
3 times the
kind of
size of
money they
Iraq
stole.
with worse topography than the Rockies.
They're
We can't win
crooks.
this. Yeah, no, I've been saying it for a long time. First of all, you can't win this war at all. But second of all, Iran is a fucking mountain fortress with 93 million people in it. And the most important things that you want is the nuclear enrichment, which is in Fordow and Natanz and Isfahan, which are like incredibly complex underground structures, underground compounds. Good fucking luck, dude. Good fucking luck.
Total crook. They're all crooks. The Somalians, what they've done to Minnesota.
Bro, the Somalis have
Somalians,
committed less fraud than the people you've
crooked as
pardoned
hell.
for committing fraud.
Ilhan Omar, crooked as hell. They're all crooks. And we got them. We got them. Now we're putting the clamps on. But boy, I tell you, that's an impressive group of guys that you have behind you. I was watching that, and a couple of very strong women too.
Hello,
But I was watching
Jack.
that last
Hello,
night.
Nelson. Hello,
Proud of you
Avo.
guys.
Hello, Mod Squad.
In 2 months, we've exposed tens of billions of dollars of defrauded taxpayer money, prosecuted numerous fraudsters, Todd, and stopped billions of suspicious payments, very suspicious. Oh, you haven't seen anything yet? Well, you see, I'm getting reports from Todd, from JD. I've never seen anything like it. The kind of, just hundreds of billions of dollars was stolen. And no other administration would do what we're doing. They'd let it go. Everybody was getting rich. And I think we have a chance to save Social Security without doing anything to it by just the numbers of fraudulent people on Social Security, people that are 115 years old, 125 years old, getting payments. It's funny, I said, oh, do those payments get turned back? No, they accept them. Well, somebody's getting the payment. It's not a person that's 125 years old. But that's the least of it. The numbers that we're finding out, we have great people at Social Security. We're going to make our Social Security so strong, so good, that you've never seen anything like it. We're going to protect. I said right from the beginning, we're going to protect our people on Social Security. If the Democrats ever got in, you wouldn't have Social Security would be bankrupt. People wouldn't
So
be getting
why are you
anything.
wearing birthing clothes?
Last week they took down 2 of the largest
What?
Medicaid fraud cases in Minnesota history,
What?
as well as the largest autism fraud case ever charged by the federal government. You saw that with
caused by
millions of
circumcisions
dollars
and
just being
Mississippi.
stolen. Everybody had autism.
Oh.
Everybody had autism. They said. It was incredible, actually. And I really...
Me explaining my
seen
night
so
at the
much,
Ren
see what
Fair.
they're doing.
Everybody had autism, and it
haven't
was
seen
incredible,
anything
really.
yet. So congratulations, JD. Be vicious like they are. They're violent people. They're violent, vicious scum. Before asking Vice President Vance to speak about these efforts, I want to express our tremendous gratitude to our outgoing Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, who's a terrific person, actually.
You guys hear Pam Bondi has cancer?
She's come up with some
Get
findings
fucked,
that
cunt.
were pretty good. And Tulsi's worked tirelessly to restore trust and focus on the intelligence and with the intelligence community. They all respected her. They listened to her. She gave us leads that were pretty much, people thought they were dead and they weren't dead. They were right there, and she was able to expose a lot of things that we used at the FBI with Cash and with Todd and with JD and everybody else. It was amazing. She dramatically reformed the Office of Director of National Intelligence and cutting the staff by 40%, and she prevented countless terrorists and cartel members from entering the United States. She exposed mountains of evidence related to the Russia hoax, probably the greatest hoax in the history of our country. Although, when you look at the fraud coming out, there's a lot of them. I mean, honestly, there's a lot of them. But
Again,
the Russia hoax, a great hoax.
Trump has
a very
granted clemency to
dangerous
more than
hoax.
70 individuals
And
convicted of
revoked
fraud and
security
financial
clearances
crimes.
of officials involved, and she declassified numerous historic documents of special public interest, including related to the JFK and RFK assassinations, which everybody wanted to see. And we're now releasing a lot of things having to do with space. It's people are very interested in that. It actually became the number one topic. We're releasing a lot of information having to do with
A chatter just said, hold on, I can't pause it because it's live. A chatter just said Tulsi quit because the seventh floor at the CIA overruled her somehow, even though they answer to her on the JFK and MK Ultra files. She was the last good one aside from Bobby and this admin. Ellipsis. If you think that Tulsi Gabbard and Robert F. Kennedy are the good ones, you're lost, bro. Tulsi Gabbard is a CIA agent. She was a fucking stooge. She was not one of the good ones, and RFK Jr. has never been one of the good ones. He's one of the most corrupt, psychopathic, drug-addicted, fucking perverted, straight up ordering the murder of his wife, sexual deviant, scumbag, anti-science. Nah, bro, no, he's not one of the good ones either.
And the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, Central Casting, he loves war. I don't know.
He loves war, he just
He's
said.
A good man, Ellen.
Okay,
And,
that's the clip.
Scott Bessent, you talk about a guy doing a job. Been fantastic.
Holy shit, he loves war is
Fantastic.
crazy.
And a lot of the success that we're having with other countries is what you've been able to do and find. And SBA Administrator Kelly Loeffler and all of the people here have been great. We're going to just do those few, and maybe if you have some questions, we'll go to others. But everybody around here has got a lot to say, but we did that once and it lasted for like 4 or 5 hours. It was a little much. We want to be open. So now if I do this way, they'll say, he didn't let anybody talk. But let's start with JD, and you can talk about a really, really important thing.
It's time for the glaze off. Now they're all going to compete. Who can glaze Donald Trump the best?
Go ahead.
Time for the glaze off.
Well, first of all, thank you for your leadership, sir, and for making it possible. I often find in the fraud task force that there sometimes are barriers that we need to break down, agencies that need to coordinate, and I'll come to the president and say, Mr. President, I need your permission to do, and he'll say, for what? For the fraud task force, and he'll cut me off and say, yes, go do it. So the fact that we have dedicated presidential leadership is really what's made this possible, because it does require, we've got great people around the table, but sometimes these agencies don't know how to work together at the lower level, and that's one of the things we've had to turn on.
It's like a 2 out of 10 glaze. He barely glazed Donald.
I want to shout out just a few all-stars here.
2 out of 10.
Linda at the Department of Education has been amazing at finding student loan fraud. You've got people who are either illegal aliens or aren't even actually real human beings who are getting hundreds of millions of dollars.
They're illegal aliens. They're not even real human beings.
We have cut that off. We found a lot. We're going to find a lot more. Scott at HUD has been amazing, because a lot of the fraud that we see is housing fraud, people claiming benefits that they're not entitled to.
Tom Massey was the last good man of the GOP. I hate to warn you that Thomas Massey is not a good man either. The bar is in fucking hell. He advocated for the release of the Epstein files. That's the one good thing he's ever done, other than saying that the war in Iran and Venezuela are stupid. But he is still a Republican, and he voted along Trump 91% of the time. He's not a good man either.
Legally entitled, or whether those people actually even exist. And so we're working on a number of mechanisms to actually force the states to verify that the people who receive these benefits are actually entitled to them. And I could go down the list. I've gotten a lot of support from a lot of people in this room. Bobby Kennedy and Dr. Oz have been particular all-stars on this.
So essentially what you're saying is, hold on, is he's a hardliner against pedophilia. He didn't support an illegal and offensive war in Iran. And what? He didn't sign the big beautiful bill? Okay, so those are all like the bottom of the barrel, because the big beautiful bill raised the taxes for the working class and lowered it for the billionaires. Of course you're not going to support that. The Iran war is insane. Of course you're not going to support that. And then pedophilia is pedophilia. You can't support that. You can't give anybody credit for those three things, because that's literally the bottom. That's the starting line.
The obvious victim are the American taxpayer. They pay their taxes, they expect the money to go where it should go, and that's not happening because of the fraudsters. But there are also victims, people who benefit from these programs that don't exist if we're not actually taking care of the fraud issue. And let me just give one example to build on something you said earlier, sir. One of the people that Todd just prosecuted was a person who was collecting a lot of money from the American taxpayer.
Like I said, the last good man of the GOP. Nah, see, that's the point I'm trying to make you. Ellipsis. There has never been any good men in the GOP. That's what I'm trying to say. You could argue that Thomas Massey is the least evil man in the GOP. That's what you can say. but he is not a good man because he is a Republican. Eisenhower? No, Eisenhower was a terrible human being. No, Eisenhower was an awful human being. Lincoln? Dude, are we going to go back all the way in history and just completely like disregard the 100-year-long party switch? The GOP is the grand old party. It's the Republican Party. Is that what we're going to do right now? Because I'm talking about modern history right now. Right now, there is no such thing as a good man who is also a Republican. It doesn't exist. It does not exist. And also, if you were talking about Lincoln, Lincoln might have been a Republican in the 1860s, but today he would have been a Democrat.
Money to take care of people, and they're not actually taking care of them. We're of course going to get to the root of as much of it as we can. But again, sir, it's been
How was Ike
I wouldn't
bad?
say fun,
Oh, I'm sorry. Have you never heard of Hiroshima and Nagasaki?
because you find out how much people have been taken advantage of. But it's certainly very good and valuable work. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to do it.
Well, thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
And Attorney General, please.
I'll just continue to talk about what the Vice President was just talking about. The way that we are actually, it's one thing to uncover fraud, which we've done, and that's part of it, but it's also prosecuting the bad guys that are doing it and stopping it from continuing. And that's where you have everybody in this
It was
room
Truman.
has inspector
Eisenhower played a
generals. And for
huge
many
role in
years,
this.
These really
He played a
hardworking
huge
law
role in the
enforcement,
dropping of the
members would
bombs.
identify fraud, and nobody did anything about it. DOJ prosecuted it, but spent a very little resources on
The
it.
rape
So
of Nanking,
what we've done
Japanese
just in the
weren't good
past
either. Oh my
51
God, are we going to
days,
do this?
over
Are you going to
4
debate with me to claim that the nuclear bombs that killed 250,000 innocent civilians in Hiroshima and Nagasaki were actually a good thing? Are we actually going to do that? Are we going to do that?
It's the FBI agents, it's DHS and HSI agents, it's everybody in this room that has inspector generals that are now, they have been freed up. And it's because of you, it's because of the Vice President saying this is going to be a priority of what we are going to do. Not just the Department of Justice, even though we're the prosecutors that are putting bad guys in jail, it's also the law enforcement at every agency, FBI and DHS. And so we're already seeing results. We had a $1 billion fraud, a conviction at trial last week out of Florida. And this was an organization that was stealing from senior citizens in Florida, duping them. There were call centers set up in the Philippines.
Eisenhower knew more about the nuclear bombs than Truman did until Truman became the president.
That's a good win. We arrested 15 guys in Minnesota last week. The Vice President mentioned
Truman
one
didn't
of
know
them.
shit
These are
about the
people
nuclear
that are
bombs.
They're just stealing, and many of them are here illegally. And so you have people who are in this country illegally, who are then taking advantage. And the Vice President says something a lot that resonates with me: the generosity of the American people, the generosity of everybody in this room, the leadership, to take care of the people in this country that are the most, that deserve it the most. Children who are supposed to get food at school. And you
Chris, if you ever had the option of becoming a billionaire, would you? No, I'd probably make sure that every dollar I had after 999 million was given to charity or some shit.
President, you allowed us to stand up a new division at the Department of Justice. It's our entire existence of that division is to combat what we're talking about. And then every U.S. Attorney's Office is now focused on it as well. So this is something that will result in a better place for every citizen in this country and save money, a lot of money, and also it's the right thing to do for our tax dollars, Mr. President.
And billions of dollars was given out just very quickly before Biden left office. Billions and billions were given out. And I mean, I know of many cases, but one, I don't know what's happened with it, but I think you're looking at it. I know Lee was involved in it environmentally. Stacey Abrams was given $2 billion for an account that had $103 in it, an environmental fraud, I guess. And she had $103 in this newly opened account. And before leaving business, they put $2 billion into the account. And they had no reason for existence. They were unable to say what they did with it. $2 billion. Lee, do you want to just mention something about that?
Well, thanks to your leadership, Mr. President, that was canceled. And they no longer have access to that $2 billion.
They were like, you know, they wanted that money. Go ahead.
In fact, it was over $29 billion that it's now been canceled at EPA. You told us to make it a priority. Now this happened as soon as you came in.
You're talking about cutting money from the Environmental Protection
inauguration.
Agency.
They were caught on video saying that they were rushing to get billions of dollars out the door before you're swearing in because they were afraid that once you were sworn in, you were going to stop it. Well, that part, they were right.
We did. Yeah, we did. Great job.
And we're happy to do it, Mr. President. And the Department of Justice under Todd Blanche's leadership, they just secured another big win in the appeals court on some recently canceled grants for different agencies. So great attorneys making sure that this accountability is delivered over the finish line. It's been a great team effort.
And we're building more, most importantly, we're building more factories and plants in the United States now than at any time ever
No, we're not.
before.
That's not true at all.
$18 trillion coming in. That's not including the 12th month, that's 11. And I say it often that the Biden administration had much less than $1 trillion, and we have $18 trillion.
You do not have
And,
$18 trillion
those
invested in the
numbers
United
as
States of
well
America.
will be
That's more money than the
that's
United
a
States of
record in the
America
history
has
of the
made
world.
throughout our
Like
250-year-long history.
And that money's going into plants, and you are giving them very fast approvals, thorough and environmentally correct, but fast approvals, and you're doing a fantastic job. Thank you very much. Another man doing a fantastic job, I think we all agree, is Marco. You're all over the place.
Little
right? I
Marco,
watched you last
the next
night.
president of the
3
United
different
States of
locations.
America.
So tell us about Iran.
Well, first of all, the bottom line is Iran's never going to have a nuclear weapon. And if recent events have done anything, is just remind us once again that they are the world's leading sponsor of terrorism.
That is
And they can
false.
never
That's
have a
actually
nuclear weapon.
Saudi
Now,
Arabia.
the president's preference, Mr. President, your preference has told us repeatedly, is always to negotiate these things and to figure out if you can have agreements. Diplomacy is always the first option. And we continue to work on that through your envoys, Mr. Witkoff and Kushner and others, the vice president, who've been very involved. And if there's an agreement to be made, we want that to be made. I think there's been some progress and some interest, and we'll see over the next
There's
few
been
hours and
zero
days whether
progress.
could be made. I just want to remind everybody, Mr. President, you know this well.
I thought
you
we
have
were the
other
number one
options
state
available
sponsor of
to you. That
terrorism.
doesn't work.
We're definitely
But
the
the
number
bottom
one
line
state
is
sponsor
that,
of terrorism, but
we
nothing
prefer
that we do is
negotiated,
considered
diplomatic
terrorism
route,
because
and
we
we're gonna give
control
it every
the
chance to
fucking
succeed. I know you're giving it every chance to
the
succeed, Mr.
international
President. But here's the bottom
understanding of
line.
what is a
I keep
war
getting asked,
crime,
what is this all
right?
about? It's very simple.
But if we're talking
Iran,
about what we
and
consider
these
to be
people in
terrorism,
charge
that
of
would be
Iran
Saudi
can
Arabia.
never have a nuclear weapon, and they will never have a nuclear weapon, and they most certainly will not have one as long as you're president of the United States. On that point, it's very clear. Just two quick things I want to touch upon. One, you touched upon the border and security. Part of securing our border is dealing with the people that are in this country unlawfully, many of whom do not want to go back to the country that they originally came from for a variety of reasons. Either we can't send them there or some judge ties us up. And one of the key things we have achieved is now 20 countries have signed third country national agreements, meaning these are safe countries where individuals who refuse to go back to their country of origin can be sent to that country instead. We've gotten 20 countries now around the world who have signed agreements that allow us to deport people to those places. What often happens when you go to the person who's here unlawfully and say, we're going to send you to this third country, is all of a sudden they decide they'd rather go back to their home country instead. So it gives the ability to enforce all laws.
Yeah, because you
We'll work
threatened
very
to send them
closely
to like
with the
Libya where they have
Department of
slave
Security on that
markets.
front. Something else that I know is concerning people, because it's on the news, is Ebola. Our number one obligation, we're involved in foreign policy, but even our foreign policy, the number one priority of our foreign policy is to protect the American people. We cannot and will not allow any cases of Ebola to enter the United States. And so the State Department and other agencies represented here, the Centers for Disease Control, HHS, others, are working very, very hard to contain this crisis to the countries where it's currently located, particularly the Democratic Republic of the Congo. And so we've surged assistance to make sure that is being contained there. And obviously, multiple agencies involved here are also very involved in tracking people, just to make sure that nobody comes into this country that has Ebola and creates a problem for us. And we feel like we've got good efforts in place to do that, and Americans should feel assured that the president and his administration is doing everything we can to protect them on that front. My last point, you said I was all over the place. One of the places I stopped in last night was to initial the Trump route for prosperity in Armenia. This is a key linchpin of the peace deal that you were able to achieve between Armenia and Azerbaijan. Right. And in addition to that, we also signed a critical minerals MOU with them and a strategic engagement one as well. So just a reminder of another war you helped to settle, Mr. President. But
He
from
didn't settle
that,
any wars.
Now we are seeing the emergence of a great new relationship with Armenia that really had grown stagnant for a very long period of time. So we're doing well on that front as well. Thank you.
And could I just ask you, Cuba and Venezuela, what's going on there?
Well, interesting. On Venezuela, that process continues, that three-phase process, of obviously.
But they're literally
stabilization
burning effigies of Trump and Marco Rubio in Venezuela.
this year. Okay, and I think this number's right, and Chris or Doug can correct me on this, but I think over 10 million barrels of Venezuelan oil have been delivered to the United States since the 3rd of January. That industry is being professionalized for the first time ever. It's going to the benefit of the Venezuelan people. They are
No, it
selling
isn't.
oil in the market at market rates. The money's going to an account in the United States, controlled and monitored by Treasury, audited by KPMG. And it's for the first time ever, the money's not being stolen. It's going to the benefit of the
Brother,
Venezuelan
you're
people.
stealing it.
Cuba's in a lot of trouble because, unfortunately for them, it's run by a bunch of incompetent communists. And being communist is bad. Being an incompetent communist is like the worst. And but the country's been taken over by this company called Gaesa that basically controls 70% of the economy. None of the money in that company goes to help the Cuban people. None of it. So we'll be talking to them. We'll be working on it. You know, we want something good for the Cuban people, and hopefully there'll be a good outcome there for them. There needs to be. It's 90 miles from our shores, and having it a failed state 90 miles from our shores is a threat to the national security of the United States.
You turned it
So
into
we're
a failed state.
producing right now more oil by double than Russia and Saudi Arabia combined. There's never been anything like that. We have. We
But
don't
why's
need
the price
oil,
of
we don't
gas
need
so
trade,
high,
we don't
Donald?
need anything, but we have more oil now being produced by double, by 2 times, than Russia and Saudi Arabia combined. It's a great stat. You want to say something about that?
Well, I would, President Trump, under your leadership, we've opened up lease sales on public land. This is land that was put away for the benefit and the use of the American people, like the Strategic Petroleum Reserve in Alaska. The Biden administration had illegally stopped holding lease sales during their administration. President Trump famously said, drill, baby, drill, but before you can drill, you've got to open public lands.
Oh, my God.
Between the lease sales that have happened.
Do you understand what he's saying? He's saying that Trump has opened up our strategic reserves of oil. That's a terrible thing. That means that we are opening up our piggy bank that we're keeping for a rainy day. We have a rainy day fund, you know, full of oil in case like massive environmental disaster or world war type shit. And we're already digging into our fucking rain jar.
So with that, a lot of excitement, a lot of activity. We also inherited, just in one district in Carlsbad, New Mexico, 5,600 unprocessed applications to drill for oil and gas on public land. And when we're drilling on public land, those companies pay a royalty, and that money comes to all of our citizens, and it goes to local school districts, and it goes to states. It is the core of the economy in parts of our country. The team down there working for the Department of Interior, Bureau of Land Management, has dropped that by 91%. It's one of the reasons why they had a record lease sale. It's because now people go, I can bid on federal land and I'm going to get a permit to drill, and it's not going to take me 5 years to get it. I'm going to get it in a month or less. And so it's exciting to see your vision. And of course, with this energy dominance, us, as you just noted, largest oil producer in the world, largest natural gas producer in the world, largest natural gas exporter. This is an opportunity for us to bring prosperity and affordability here at home, but also bring peace abroad. So, President Trump, your energy dominance strategy with Chris Wright, Lee Zeldin, all the people that are working on this, people around the room, it's been really incredible. And of course, you mentioned Venezuela, but all that flowing to our Gulf Coast refineries is also helping to keep the price of gas down at home. So again, it's an amazing
Keep the
transformation.
gas, the
Bottom
price
line
of
is
gas down. The price of
center
gas has skyrocketed.
Geopolitics around energy has moved from other parts of the world to the Western Hemisphere in the last 5 months. You turned Venezuela from a sanctioned adversary into a strategic ally in 45 minutes. Never happened in history before. And what's going on in Alaska? When I was there last week in Alaska, the North Slope, 80,000 barrels a day coming online at Pica. That wouldn't have happened with you. It's up by Willow on the North Slope. That's going into the Alaska pipeline. 20% increase just off that one field. So amazing work. Energy is a high-tech industry, and those guys are crushing it, and they're loving the fact that they can provide affordable, reliable, secure energy for America.
And we're working very hard in California. You know, a lot of people don't know this, but California has tremendous oil reserves. Used to be number 3 in the nation, and the radical left has just wiped it out. And we're working very hard to get that open again and get it so the people, their gasoline prices, their lack of energy is just staggering. It's staggering. And we're actually making very good progress. Even people that were against that at one point, now they're saying, wow, that'd be great. But people don't realize it was one of the, right, Chris? It was one of the top drilling states, one of the and I would say in terms of reserves, as among the top in the country. Nobody thinks of that with California. Everything was just closed down, really violently closed down. And we're opening up some of it, and we're being met with actually great spirit because they're paying so much for gasoline that they don't have to be doing that. And they have
Yeah, the
a
hats
very
are weird, bro.
incompetent group of
The hats
leaders,
remind me of just like a
grossly
fucking,
incompetent.
like a
So I think that's
swastika
gonna be
in front of
something on
each
a slightly
seat.
smaller subject. While Doug was speaking, Department of Interior, he and his people have done a fantastic job on D.C. D.C. is looking beautiful. The fountains are almost all open. We had 28 of them. And we have one in particular, a very long.
What's with all the
lake,
hats?
we
It's a
call it,
grift.
a
They
reflecting
sell these
lake
hats online.
between
This
the,
is like part of their
Lincoln
advertisement.
Monument. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. You take a look at between Lincoln and
What's on
Washington.
the hats? It
you
looks
have
like
the
an
longest,
eagle.
like 2,400
Eagle's
feet
head.
long. That's longer than the tallest building in the world if you set it on its side, and it's almost 200 feet wide. And actually, it was built in 1922, and from 1922 on, it really never worked. It always leaked, and it was a problem, and a lot of things. And
Talking about the Lincoln
hundreds
Pool.
of millions was spent. The Biden administration and the Obama administration spent hundreds of millions of dollars trying to get it to work, and they failed. And we'll be spending, you'll give me a number, but I think it's a very low number. It's like in the number that we originally
Somebody said, why don't you ever
talked
show
about,
off your merch on stream?
where we cleaned it, we fumigated it. We had 10 major truck dumpsters of garbage taken out. Can you believe it? A friend of mine came in, very substantial person from Germany, wanted to see the Washington Monument. I wanted to see the Lincoln Memorial. And he said, I look, but that horrible reflecting pond is disgusting. It's filthy, dirty, and disgusting. I said, really? I drove down. I said, Secret Service, let's take a drive. And we went down. I said, that's terrible. And for the most part, it didn't work. I mean, they wouldn't even have water in there. But when they did, it was just dirty, filthy water that leaked out. And we got to work on it. And it was supposed to cost almost $400 million, because it's like putting the skin on a skyscraper, but bigger, much bigger. Many skyscrapers.
Dude on the
you
right
could
looks like a
almost say,
Nazi.
other than for the
Pete
world's
Hegseth, he
tallest-
is.
Think of it, the world's tallest skyscraper is shorter than 2,400 feet. So we went to work, and over the years I built hundreds of pools. I build them every time I built a building. I always like to build Olympic-sized swimming pools, and I was very aware of swimming pool, what goes into making a swimming pool. It's not as simple as people think. You never want it to leak. You want to have beautiful surface. I said, I have an idea, Doug. We sat down. I said, let's take that long thing where we're going to fix it with concrete, which leaks, concrete, and all sorts of other materials that all leak and don't look good. They're gray. And, swimming pool, I have a swimming pool right up the road. I built it 22 years ago. It's perfect. I said, does it ever leak? No. It's perfect. Good contractors. I actually called in a couple of the contractors, got some ideas from them. And I gave it to Doug, and Doug's done an unbelievable job. And
Hey, Chris, I heard MAGA is now saying Hitler was a democratic socialist. Dude, people have been saying that Hitler was a socialist since Hitler fucking rose to power. That was the whole point of the Nazi Party, was to envelop themselves and pretend like they were socialists because capitalism had failed so miserably in Weimar Germany that nobody was going to vote for the status quo. So they cloaked themselves in socialist policies when in reality they were actually a fucking fascist. So it's one of the oldest tricks in the book, and people still fall for it. It's 1930s propaganda that people are falling for in 2026.
it was disgusting. Oh, every corner had massive amounts of, I guess that's the way the tide goes, but they had massive amounts of garbage. We then steam cleaned it. We then
Thanks for the $2, Matt.
sandblasted it, and then we pebble blasted it. That's a bigger version of sand. We made the surface as
Somebody
good
said
as it
Hitler
can be,
recognized Palestine before he was
and
killed.
we're now covering it with the most beautiful
What do you mean before
blue,
he was killed?
very
He killed
thick,
himself,
You think of it as
if
a
you believe
very
that he died.
sophisticated form of rubber. No leaks, no problems, and it's beautiful. It's called American Flag Blue. That was the color we chose.
And also, it was not
we
impressive
are
to recognize
probably
Palestine back then
70%
because
finished with it.
Israel
It's gonna be
literally did not exist. Israel didn't exist until 1948, but on the maps, Palestine did. So that's not like an impressive thing.
The outer ring looks pretty bad too, where you walk on. So we sandblasted that. This is all.
He's still talking about the memorial pool.
When you do something like this, when you do the one you think the other looked okay, but then when the other, you see the new surface, the old stuff that looked okay looks really bad. So we cleaned that, sandblasted it.
I don't believe Hitler killed himself. I'm sure he
The
did.
walkways, all of
Well, you can't even say that. Oh, let me mute it instead of going live. You actually can't say I'm sure he did, because to this day, there has never been a single shred of evidence that Adolf Hitler died. That's not even a joke, dude. I'm a historian. Like, I majored in history. I wrote my college thesis on the rise of Nazi Germany. To this day, there is not one single piece of evidence that Hitler died at all, let alone that he killed himself. Yeah, no, I believe he got away. I believe he got away to Argentina. Just so you know, this is not a conspiracy. Tens of thousands of Nazis escaped to South America. Tens of thousands of them. And I just believe if tens of thousands of high-ranking Nazis could get away, so could the big man himself. Could he still be alive today? Not technically.
I have a lot of fun doing it. Your staff is fantastic. They've really worked well. But the concept, so think of it, instead of spending $200, $300, $400 million, and it will never
I was taught
work,
that he did die.
we're gonna
Yes,
spend like-
yes. We were all taught that he died. Do you know who said that Hitler died? Who broke the news that Hitler was dead? Who was the one who told the world that Hitler was dead? Who was it? Who was it? Joseph Goebbels, the propaganda minister of Nazi Germany. They said he died. The Nazis. Great way to get everyone to stop fucking looking for him.
maybe
He's still
100
going off
years.
about this
They
pool.
didn't even know. I said, how long will this last? Oh, I think you'll get 50 years out of it. We did the swimming pool treatment, but they said, sir, for a little more money, we can get industrial strength. I said, that sounds good to me. Same color, same everything, same stuff, but it's actually much stronger. It's used for industrial. I said, I love that. So we're going to have that open. It's going to be really, really beautiful. And it's a very important thing. You know, we can't have people looking at the Washington Monument, going.
Get a validified history on the 13th Amendment. We can.
If you take a look, the Lincoln Memorial, it was built, I guess, a little after the
Could
Lincoln
Hitler have
Memorial.
descendants living in the
It's
present day?
embarrassing.
What do you mean could? He does. The Hitlers live in Long Island. They changed their last name to Wolf, I believe, but Hitler's only living descendants live in Long Island. It's a brother and a sister, and they have made a pact to never have children and to let their blood die with them. They live in Long Island. They own a hardware store. This is real.
That was good, but the water from the Potomac was not suitable for this, to put it mildly. It was disgusting what happened. And so they spent hundreds of millions, over $100 million, and they immediately closed it. It was closed for many months and nobody did anything. It was closed. It's basically been closed. But go back to 1922.
Give me the $10.
It was always sort of, people think of it as beautiful, but it was always
Okay,
a mess.
yo. Here's what we're gonna do for today's video. Or maybe we're gonna watch Trump again talking about this reflecting pool and how fucking long he has gone off, because it's been 10 minutes now. It's
See
been
whether
10
or not
minutes.
they pointed it correctly. But they do. We have great contractors doing the job, but we'll spend a very tiny amount of money, and it'll be better than it ever was when it was built in 1922. It's very exciting, actually. To me, I love construction. It's very exciting. And we do many things. We did 28
I'm calling it right now.
29
Trump is of
founders.
German descent. He is,
I made
bro.
a contribution.
Donald Trump's name isn't even Donald Trump. His father changed their last name. They're a German family. Their last name was Drumpf. D-R-U-M-P-H. Drumpf. His name, if you went to Germany, would be Donald Drumpf. Like, he's literally German.
A lot of work.
So
on
am
it.
I.
That was a contribution that I made with some other people. And it's going to be really beautiful. That was really the front door.
Just
to
like
the White
J.D.
House.
Vance's name isn't J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance's name is James Donald Bowman. That's his name. He just created the name J.D. Vance.
Efforts on the reflecting pool are actually a great segue. If you look at Washington and Lincoln, these are two men that faced monumental tasks and stood up in historic fashion and delivered for the American people. And when you step back and look at 47 years of what Iran waged war against us and our people, there's only one man over the course of both presidency who has stood up and said they will never get a nuclear weapon, as Marco said. So whether it was Qasem Soleimani, whether it was scrapping the Obama deal that was going to give them a weapon, whether it was the 12-day war or Operation Midnight Hammer, you created the conditions to ensure the American people and the world are safeguarded from this generational threat. And so when you authorized Operation Epic Fury, just like you talked about with the reflecting pool, we didn't do the same old thing the way we'd done it in the past after Iraq and Afghanistan, the way we waged wars. Instead, you said we're going to do this smart, we're going to do it overwhelming, we're going to use maximum lethality, and we're going to bring them to their knees. And so whether it's their Navy that's at the bottom of the Persian Gulf, their Air Force, their air defenses, or their defense industrial base, they may have missiles, but they can't build more right now. And they can't build more drones right now, and they can't build more ships. And so they came and cried uncle to talk.
No, they
Steve
didn't.
and Jared and the vice president and others are doing so ably. And during that time, we put in a world-class blockade. And they haven't been able to bring anything in or anything out from Iranian ports. And we know from the intel that their economy is hurting big time because
None of that is
their
true.
lifeblood.
Literally
Again,
nothing
bringing
he
them to
just
the
said is
table.
true.
So whether it is through the efforts of your negotiators that they ensure that they never have a nuclear weapon, or we have to go back to the War Department to finish the job that way, we're prepared to do that. And I think even our reach on the dark fleet of Iranian tankers, no Iranian tanker around the globe is safe. And we've seen seizures all around the globe, again, choking off their economic lifeblood. But all of this is possible, Mr. President,
Because of you.
thanks to the investments that you've made in this department, firing on all cylinders. For the second year in a row, we're at historic recruitment rates. Last year we said that here. This year we beat it even faster. The American people are excited about what you're bringing to our department. Our defense industrial base, $50 billion in private investments because of the meetings you've held. Defense manufacturers are
steak was
investing in new
delectable.
plants and new manufacturing, new production lines, so that we're getting weapons faster than ever. And then the $1.5 trillion that you've committed to the department going forward, that's 1 million American jobs. 1 million American manufacturing jobs. That's Golden Dome for America. That's F-47. That's B-21. That's $50 billion in drones. We're going to lead the world in drones, shaving years off of production of all of those. Everything under budget and ahead of schedule, which is what the warfighter deserves. And we saw it. You mentioned Venezuela, Mr. President. You saw it on display there. Think of the fact that our Southcom commander just landed.
Let's have that steak fries.
Via helicopter at our embassy, peacefully at the welcome of the Venezuelans, because we're now partnering with them, hopefully, even on the counter-cartel mission as we secure our hemisphere. So we've secured that southwest border. We're going to war with the cartels through the America's Counter-Cartel Coalition. Venezuela is a big part of securing our energy future and defending the homeland. And then I just want to note one more thing to give you a sense of how committed this president is. Maybe a year ago, he heard the call of Nigerian Christians who were being targeted.
Bro, he
and
bombed
killed,
Nigerian Christians
by
on
ISIS
Christmas.
in Nigeria. And he said, Pete, I want the War Department to focus on ensuring that we do everything we can to protect those Christians. Partnerships like that can take time behind the scenes, but he never wavered on it. And we got the assets there, and over the last month, and there hasn't been much coverage of this, we killed ISIS #2 in Nigeria, who's most responsible for
Bro,
killing
you put an
Christians
ISIS
and
commander in charge of Syria. The literal leader of Syria is a former Al-Qaeda operative and ISIS commander.
who were targeting
And you
killing
invited him
Christians.
to the White House. Donald Trump hung out with a former ISIS commander in the White
It
House.
pays attention to, and a lot of things the
In the
president
Oval.
empowers the department to do on behalf of the American people that he deserves great credit for.
Thank you. Great job. You're doing a great job. I just want to say on recruitment, we're very proud of the fact that for the previous 4 years,
Just so you guys know, recruitment
they
levels
had-
going up is always a terrible sign for a country. The more people that are feeling desperate enough to join the U.S. military means the U.S. economy is crumbling.
having a hard time recruiting, and they set record low numbers. They were way behind, and literally from November 5th it started. It started even before we got going. But from the time we won the election to now, we've had numbers of recruitment the likes of which we've never had. Record recruitment in every single branch, and that includes police and firemen. Record recruitment, so we're very proud of that. Thank you. Great job. Thank you, sir. Kelly, please.
Mr. President, you have made us a nation of builders again. You're leading us to the greatest economy that the world has ever known. And I see that every week as I travel This
Can you
country,
clap like a
Main
seal and
Streets
laugh like a
across
chudlet?
dozens
I
of
can do
states.
that. I can do that. I can absolutely do that. Did you guys hear that we're gonna keep on bombing Iran? We're gonna drop a Moab and we're gonna take out the civilian infrastructure.
Jobs numbers. In the last 2 months alone, we've created over 300,000 private sector jobs in this country. Most jobs are created by small businesses, 2 out of 3. And small businesses, as you know, make up 99% of all businesses in this country and account for half of our GDP. So when that part of the economy is finally working again, they've gotten out from $5 trillion of regulation that the Biden administration put on hardworking small businesses. They penalized growth, investment, hard work, and success. But thanks to the working family tax cuts that every single Democrat
Go
voted
away,
against,
evil MILF.
hardworking
Do not
families,
look
the
not
welders,
upon
the
me.
waitresses
Brother, that ain't a
feed on
fucking
Bentley
MILF. This
Fords
bitch is 70%
across this
plastic.
country,
Get the
from
fuck out of here.
Pennsylvania, to New Mexico, where I'll be tomorrow. Brooke and I are going to Arizona tonight. So we see this everywhere we go. It's one of the most underreported stories in the media. Main Street is back.
That's Mark
and
from Oklahoma.
because
Fuck that guy.
America
I know.
first.
He's the new
I'll tell you the other
head of the
thing
Department of
about
Homeland
fraud.
Security,
Small
Mark Wayne
businesses
Mullen.
are particularly hurt by the fraud because they're some of our biggest taxpayers in the country. And they show up every day. They work hard to provide for their employees, to build their businesses. They're doing it the honest way. And they see fraudsters taking from the American people. It's taxpayer money. And so you think about, at the SBA, we found $200 billion in fraudulent PPP
But why did
loans that
Trump
the Biden
pardon 70
administration
people
tried
convicted
to
of fraud?
hide and forgive
Huh.
and sweep under the rug. We've turned the first $22 billion of that over to Treasury for collections and to DOJ for prosecution. Our Inspector General is already announcing that people are going to jail. There are jail sentences now being served. We've announced that 140,000 people have been barred from ever getting SBA loans again.
You know, Chris, I just want to correct you that Dwight Eisenhower was the most prominent dissenter in using the nuclear bomb and indeed warned against that and war machine corporations. Well, he still signed off on its release.
Because it's really accelerated our ability to get the job done. But then just back to small businesses. We have record business formation in this country. That's another story that the media
The only good thing Eisenhower ever did was fire General MacArthur when he requested to nuke China during the Korean War.
Strong job creation, business formation at all-time records in this country, but we have manufacturing expansion, 4 consecutive months. That means that's a leading indicator, meaning that we have expansion coming. Another story the media won't tell you, 98% of all manufacturers are small
Nah, I
businesses.
feel you. I'm done with this. This is all just stupid fucking bullshit anyway. Malenti sent me something, a link earlier. Don Jr.'s bride is the daughter of Epstein's former banker. Yeah. Did people not know this? Did people not know this? Donald Trump Jr. just married Bettina Anderson. Anderson's father, Harry Loy Anderson Jr., was Jeffrey Epstein's accountant or banker. We literally made you a doc. I have the doc right here. Let's get a look at it. This is sick, although it's AI generated, so I hate it. What the fuck is this? Oh, it's not a link. Look at the doggy. Look at the cute little doggy. Potty trained in 6 days, has met a horse and a baby goat today. Lots of toys and shoes and is getting used to car rides. Beautiful little doggy. Oh, I love that rat. What a beautiful little rat. Oh, it's a possum. Hold on, I gotta lower the AC even more. I'm still fine. And I also have to take a piss. Give me 1 second. The Arctic is on fire. Well, that's never good.
The Arctic used to resist fires, and now it's actually fueling them. And that's having a bigger impact when we're talking about climate around the globe. Think of the Arctic as the Earth's early warning system. So historically in this area, wildfires happened very rarely. They were separated by centuries. The Arctic is warming about 4 times faster than the global average. It has dried out surface soils. It has melted permafrost. It's also allowed shrubs and woody plants to expand in areas that used to be nothing but a wet tundra. And it's creating the perfect setup for wildfires in areas that we've never really seen before. They're burning those peat layers, so those can smolder underground for a very long period of time. And
Hey, Chad, is it a good thing when the Arctic, historically icy, is it a good thing when the Arctic starts to light on fire?
then all of a sudden ignite new fires. The Arctic wildfires aren't just burning vegetation. They're burning soils that are storing carbon from our atmosphere. It's just a continuous loop of fires and warming and releasing this carbon into the atmosphere. What researchers have done is they've gone back and looked at least 3,000 years, and they know this is something new in our warming world that we're going to have to deal with.
Well, that's absolutely fucking horrifying. Films are more likely to star an actor named Chris or a talking animal than a woman in over 60 years. You damn fucking right they are. You damn fucking right they are. It's a Chris supremacy, motherfucker. And all you women, you can cope, mauled, and seethe, unless you're also named Chris, okay? Dog shoots woman with a shotgun at a gas station. I saw this, bro. I don't know if you guys know that there's an old saying where it's like, man shoots dog, not news. Dog shoots, or no, not shoots. It's dog bites man, not news. Man bites dog. Now that's news. And this is like, man shoots dog, that's not news. But dog shoots man? Get the fuck out of here. Who's reporting to a shotgun blast at a convenience store sounds like the opening of countless American crime movies, but when the cops in Nebraska responded to a recent such call, they found an unusual culprit, a dog. They found a truck with blast damage in one of its doors and a woman who had been struck in the arm by a pellet from a shotgun. A canine cause behind the shooting when it was revealed that the blast happened as a vehicle had pulled up to the store as a dog had been moving from one side of its back seat to another. Somehow the dog had triggered the shotgun, which had a live round chamber to fire. Thank God the dog is okay. Thank God the dog is okay. Jesus Christ. $453-mile-per-hour drone? Get the fuck out of here.
It's moving fast. $730.
730 kilometers per hour?
I thought it wasn't going to go quick, and then it.
$453 miles per hour, you were right. Oh my God.
Just kept going.
Somebody get this man a gun! That is so unbelievably fucking horrifying.
Okay. I'm gonna go.
That is so unbelievably fucking horrifying. Now, this is one drone. Imagine 1,000 of these drones working with like hive mind swarm style technology, anonymous targeting systems, and bombs and guns attached to it. where even if you took one out, there's still 999 of them, and there's no operator that you can kill to turn them off. It's just autonomous targeting systems. And people wonder why I'm literally, like, I don't have the words to explain how horrifying I believe the next, like, massive world war will be. It will be something where we don't have the vocabulary to describe the horror of it. It will be unimaginably horrifying. Jesus. Yeah, I got this one. Liberals, assemble! Trending up, creator speaker lineup. Okay. They got Aaron Parnas, Adam Mockler, Alex Perlman, Jolly Good Ginger. Yeah, that's a liberal Avengers right there. That's a lib Avengers. Electric Boogaloo time. We are preemptive striking 4D chess. We're violating our own treaty if they realize that Iran has no need to make a deal when the UK will run out of fuel in a few weeks, and they can just twist the US's arm to force Israel to let its grip off Lebanon. Oh, I vehemently disagree with you. Twist the US's arm to force Israel to let its grip off Lebanon? We don't have that power. We literally do not have that power. We can't force Israel to do anything. Yeah, we covered that yesterday. This one is important. It'll take years to replenish the stockpile of advanced weapons used by the Iran war. Yeah, we talked about that already. I'll get a look at that, though. Oh yeah, the hypersonic missiles are fucking crazy.
So why did you tell us to move out of the way to allow the ICE criminals to kidnap the strikers and move them to other parts of the Gulag system? Yeah. We were the ones blocking them from doing that. Why did you scab for ICE?
Look, I was in there. I was there and where the transfer section is. I did not see, just 20 minutes ago, movements of people. I did not think that there were. You didn't think? I understand what you're trying to do.
Kim, how can we trust you to make the right call about ICE when you take thousands and thousands of dollars from AIPAC that funds the same surveillance systems that ICE is using?
I really don't. But look, I get it.
You really
can be unhappy.
You told us because you were going to get in there if we moved out. And they used that to crush this strike.
The deal was for me and another person to be able to do that.
What side are you on? What side are you on?
I understand that you're unhappy.
You're on the wrong side of this struggle. You're on the wrong side of the genocide in Gaza. Where do you stand?
Senator Andy Kim, will you call for abolishing ICE? ICE just brutalized a U.S. citizen who you're standing next to right now. Will you call for a full abolishment of ICE?
Guys playing both
Senator
sides.
Andy Kim, that woman was tear gassed. You're standing next to her as she's washing her eyes because she was tear gassed. Do you have anything to say about ICE? Will you call for an abolishment of ICE? Senator Andy Kim, you cannot come out here and cosplay community member when you are a key player in making sure this detention center stays open.
You can't cosplay community member is fucking genius. I love that. I love that.
Russia launching a huge drone and missile attack on Ukraine's
hypersonic missiles are so fucking scary, dude. They're so fucking scary.
Of Kyiv overnight. The Ukrainian president, Volodymyr Zelensky, says the Russians used a hypersonic ballistic missile during the assault, killing at least 2 people and damaging a number of buildings. Russia called it retaliation for recent Ukrainian strikes in Russian territory.
Dude, we really are exactly like the Russians. We're like, oh, we're just retaliating, even though they launched this fucking war. Oh, wow. See the interview with the Ukrainian drone operator lady, and she has a Nazi patch on her vest? No, I didn't. But there is a large Nazi problem within Ukraine, and that has to do with the fact that the Russians were raping the Ukrainian land and people for an incredibly long time. Especially during World War II, the Ukrainians, they had to fight against the Soviets and the Germans. So there's a large portion of Ukrainians who fought alongside the Germans, and now they have a long-standing relationship with Nazism. Very well made, OAL Media. Very well made. Very well made, OAL Media. Congratulations. Good work. Let's get a look at what we've got on Trump's truth. Nothing new. Favorite gun in Battlefield 6? The M16.
They thought they were going to outweight me, you know, we'll outweigh.
Believe is the most important government benefit for young people since the GI Bill. The Trump accounts, the app will be available on all.
As you know, the restaurants were closing. This place is looking.
So many fucking clips. Oh my god, so many fucking clips. From this one event. They're probably still live, aren't they? They're probably still fucking live. Of course they are.
13 souls, 13 great people. Met the parents, great people. And it's a terrible thing, but 13. If you look at the war casualties and the deaths in wars from Vietnam and all that, there was
he's going to downplay the dead U.S. soldiers
of these wars. We're very cognizant of that. We want to lose very few. We want very few to be injured. We're very careful. But war is war. War is dangerous. But we've lost 13. I saw the Democrats took an ad putting in the 13 people that were lost. And when you look at hundreds of thousands of people that were lost in the Middle East, Iraq, all the different wars we were in, we have done an amazing job. With that being said, I hate to lose 13. I hate to lose 1, but we've been very capable. I mean, when you think of it, we took over Venezuela in 1 day. We have done a similar job, but we said, well, give them a little chance.
Oh, it's not actually 13.
Somebody that we.
No, we have lost hundreds of soldiers.
The Field Marshal and the Prime Minister, they've been great. They asked us, would we pause the war for a little while because they'd like to, so we'll do that. But we had them beat. They're, no better now. We could close it out very quickly. If we can do it in a different way, that'd be good. If we get everything we want, but we could close that out very, very quickly, and we may have to. I don't think so, but we may have to.
Let's go about the World Cup, if I could. The U.S. spent a lot of money getting the World Cup here and increasing the infrastructure. Does the economic benefit outweigh the cost?
No, the World Cup is great. It's the most successful they've ever had, ticket-wise. It's they've never had anything that sold so quickly. It's amazing because it's the United States.
What
You don't think of
benefits?
I call it soccer. You know, it's just easier to do because we have football and they have 2 footballs, right? They call it football. But most people never thought they'd see anything like that. The World Cup, it's turned out to be the most successful World Cup from the standpoint of what's happening than they've ever had. Yeah, please.
Thank you so much. Rowena Ortiz with Turning Point USA. I have one question for you and one question for
Turning Point.
Vice President J.D. Vance.
Do you miss Charlie Kirk?
What's your message to the New Jersey leaders pushing back against ICE operations at Delaney Hall?
About ICE?
Yes.
Or about NICE, as I call it, NICE. The NICE facility. I'd love to change the name, call it NICE. They do a great job, and it's all paid for protesters. You know, you can see by the signs. The signs are all made by the same beautiful factory. It's a printing plant.
Oh,
In fact,
yeah,
I'm
man.
thinking about
Everybody
using it. They do
protesting
such a
ICE is
nice
being
job.
paid. Yeah,
These
of
aren't
course.
protesters. These people are fake. They're all paid for. And I will tell you, Tom Holman and that whole group, and now Mark Wayne is so incredible. Mark Wayne, do you want to just respond to that? Sure. We run the finest facilities anywhere in the world of their type.
Yeah,
but
best
we have
concentration
some horrible
camps.
killers. We have killers. We have guys that have murdered numerous people in there. And these are the people they're trying to protect. There's nobody that runs a facility like we do. Mark Wade, please.
Yeah, it shows this radical left Democrats' priorities when they decide to go out and protest a detention center where we're housing rapists, child predators, murderers, drug dealers, and they choose Memorial Day of all the days, of all the time to go protest something.
You bombed Iran on Memorial Day. By the way, 91% of all ICE detainees are innocent and are released.
Full of individuals that was refusing to eat because they want their ethnic group or their ethnic right food. Well, they can go back to their country and get whatever food they want. The fact is, we're giving them the calories they want. This isn't Holiday Inn. We're giving sanitation. But for the Democrats and the governor, like Governor Sherrill and Senator Kim and Senator Booker, to go out and do something like this of all the days is very frustrating. And we see Antifa signs are literally out there. The local police literally refusing to respond. They barricade it, not allowing our employees to come in and out. ICE has to go out there, remove the barricade, and then you have one of the senators complain because he got splattered with a pepper ball. I'm sorry, you probably shouldn't have been there.
Jesus Christ. Oh, you're telling me a senator got shot in the face with a pepper ball by Immigration and Customs Enforcement? Shouldn't have gone. We literally live in hell.
They love him. They
live in hell.
love me a lot. And I'm in New Jersey a lot. It's great. I mean, I think it's a great place. It's got a group of people running it now that are having a hard time. But they
$10, please.
They really like this administration. They love this administration more than any administration they've ever had. And they're thanking me all the time. And, you know, I see those guys going up and down the Jersey Turnpike with their big, beautiful hats on. I say, I'd like to look like that someday. You know, they're great. No, these are great people, and they love him, and they love ICE, and they love the Border Patrol, and they're not allowed to talk to anybody. It's like, but it all comes from the top. They have to follow orders. They want to keep their jobs.
Mr. President, are you expecting Congress to pass a federal gas tax holiday?
What?
A gas tax holiday?
Yeah, to
What?
suspend federal
Well,
gas
it's something we might talk about.
Oh,
We'll see
we're gonna
what
have
happens
one
over the
day
next
when you
week,
don't have to
2
pay.
weeks. A lot of good
Dude, are
things
you
happening.
fucking out of your mind? Do you understand the lines you would have? There's one day in the year when you don't have to be thanked in your gas. Dude, I hate this country. I hate this country. Please, sir, give me a crumb, please.
A good year. Boy, what a team. They win all their games. They have some great players. I think I'll be going to one of the games. Yeah, I was invited by numerous people and Jim, and I think I'll be going. It's great to see it.
President Trump, on election fraud, President Trump.
The Knicks have really suffered for years. And
What's your prediction?
They're doing right now.
President Trump,
Would you accept an agreement with Iran that just calls for further talks on the uranium, or
No.
is the only option in
No,
your
the
mind
basics.
one
No,
for?
I would for some of it, because it's a memorandum of understanding for speed. And one of the things that will happen is the strait will open immediately. But it's got to be perfect. I'm not going to do this. I didn't do this to get a crummy agreement. The worst agreement ever signed was by Barack Hussein Obama.
Your deal is worse than that. Your deal is worse than that.
Back for this country, for the whole world. The Middle East would have blown itself up. No, I would like to have the countries we were talking about with Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, and the
Abraham
others. We'd like
Accords.
to have them immediately join and Steve Witkoff is working on that with Jared and some others, but would like to have them join the Abraham Accords. It'll be historic if they do it. And we would. I think they owe that to us. To be honest,
We want Iran to join the Abraham
that really
Accords.
would be
Should all be
a
allies with
tremendous
Israel.
honor. And I think those countries owe it to us.
Mr. President.
Steve, are you going to get them to sign?
We're definitely pushing it, Mr. President.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure we should make the deal if they don't sign. You want to know the truth? If they don't sign to join the Abraham Accords, I don't know that we. You know, we have countries in there already. UAE, great countries, bold countries, and it's turned out to be so good, so effective, and so we're requesting strongly that they join. It'll be great. It'll be great for Saudi Arabia. It'll be great for Qatar and Kuwait, the whole group.
So the Iran deal might be contingent on more countries joining the
I don't know.
Accords.
I don't want to say that. I'm not going to give you, what's contingent, what's not. I can say that we can make a good deal right now, but maybe not a great deal. And if it's not a great deal, we're not making it. So, because we can make a great deal with this guy right here. And but it's it's a lot nastier. Probably wouldn't go as quickly. We wouldn't be talking about it as quickly, but it would be foolproof. But I think we're doing very well, Steve. I think we're doing pretty well in terms of the negotiation, but we'll see. If it's not going to be a real deal, because Obama had that horrible JCPOA, whatever it was the worst deal.
He doesn't know shit about it.
It was a path for Iran to have a nuclear weapon very quickly. Years ago, they would have had a nuclear weapon. We might not be here talking about it right now. They would have had a nuclear weapon. And frankly, Obama picked the wrong country. He should have picked another country. I won't tell you what it was. But he picked the wrong country when he picked Iran. But
What do you-
we
what?
have
What did
things
he even just
understood
say?
now with Iran. It's been nasty. They've lost their leaders. They've lost. And it really is regime change. We didn't set
It's
out
not
for
regime change.
But by the fact that we're dealing with a totally different group of people than we were at the beginning. And frankly, I find them to be much more reasonable. I actually find them to be smarter, but I find them to be much more reasonable. This is regime change. One regime is gone, another regime is gone, we're dealing with the third. Pieces of it, because some of them are gone too. And I find them, I think, how can you have a stronger regime change than that, So I do find that. I'd like to thank you all very much. We're doing great. Our country is doing fantastically well, and this group of people is outstanding. Thank you all very much.
I think the end there matters the most.
To us. George at Madison Square Garden. He's having a good. We'd like to have them. It'll be great. It'll get out very quickly. They're great. And Jim Dolan's a great guy. He's as
The
you
tail
know.
end of that matters the most when he's like, do you think you're going to get that deal done?
Boy, what a team! They win all their games. They have some great players. I think I'll be going to one of the games. I was invited by numerous people, and Jim. And I think I'll be going. It's great to see it.
President Trump, on election fraud, President Trump.
The Knicks have really suffered for years.
What's your prediction?
They're doing right now.
Would you accept an
Okay, so that's the timestamp. Where are we? How far in are we right here? 3 minutes and 52 seconds left. Let's go back just a couple of seconds.
They have some great players. I think I'll be going to one of the games. I was invited by numerous people, and Jim, and I think I'll be going. It's great to see it. The Knicks,
Right there. Okay, that matters. See if there's any hilarious bits.
no longer has.
Let's refresh Aaron Rupar and gather some hilarious bits from this cabinet meeting. There's a lot of them. I only want the funny ones. There's so many of them. Holy fucking shit. Holy fucking shit. Okay, let's see.
Call it a war, I call it a conflict. Despite the conflict with Venezuela, who no longer has a navy, no longer has an air force, no longer has a lot of people that were leading.
Well, hold on. Let's see. Okay,
the
this
country
one.
into a very bad place. Anything having to do with medical.
The 600%, we've
About
heard
we
that.
go from $10 to 20. The world is bigger than the U.S. Hard to believe, but it's true. So it's not like you cut it in. TrumpRx. Economic system is broken down. They thought they were going to outweight me. You know, we'll outweight him. He's got the midterms. I don't care about the midterms. Look what happened last night. That was the prelude.
Yep, I don't care about the midterms. We're going to get that one.
Really equally as well with, but again, people don't want to write about it, with Iran. Iran is very much intent. They want very much to make a deal. So far,
Yep,
they
we're
haven't
gonna do
gotten
this
there.
one because he's insane and just lying.
To eliminate fraud is waging war on waste, fraud, theft, and abuse like nobody's ever seen before. He looks like Elliot Ness. Do you ever see Elliot Ness? I'm telling you, the guys are up there. And, you know, if he does really great, we'll have a balanced budget without having to do anything. They're all crooks. I think we have a chance to save Social Security. Vicious scum. We're releasing a lot of information having to do with extraterrestrial things, and people are totally fascinated by it. It's amazing. I wasn't sure if they would enjoy it.
If they would fall for the distraction, and they really fucking didn't. Hey, Chris, where's that top 10 Goyim of all time segment? No, I have to do that. I have to do that. I have to do that. I'll tell Avi I want to make a video about that. Top 10 Goyim of all time. And the thing is, to be in the top 10 Goyim, you need to, like, quite literally, your entire existence needs to be in the name of Israel. You know damn well Ted Cruz is going to be up there. Donald is quite clearly the top Goyim of all time. Top number one Goyim at all time. Chris, check the docu-testy. Send the link again, because I closed it. Send the link again.
We have great people.
Oh, Pete Hegseth, he loves war. Need that.
First of all, thank you for your leadership, sir, and for making it possible. I often find in the Fraud Task Force that there sometimes are barriers that we need to break down, agencies that need to
Lindsey
coordinate.
Graham is
From
up
the
there.
President
Mark
to
Levin
Mr.
is up
President,
there.
I need your permission to do, they'll say, for what? For the Fraud Task.
Well, that process continues at 3.
Like that. We have. We don't need oil. We don't need the Straits. We don't need anything. But we have more oil now being produced by 2 times, than Russia and Saudi Arabia combined.
Not true whatsoever, but we'll get that one.
We don't need oil. We don't need the Straits. We don't need anything. But we have more.
It's been really incredible. And of course, you mentioned Venezuela, but all that flowing to our Gulf Coast refineries is also helping to keep the price of gas down at home. So again,
yep, we're going to talk about that. These people live in a different reality. That might be the name of the video. By the way, Nelson, for the thumbnail, if you want to get working on the thumbnail, how about Trump at this cabinet meeting and with Hegseth next to him, and it says, he loves war. How about that? He loves war. And then I'll make the title something along the lines of, these people live in a different fucking reality.
Economic system, and we have one in particular, a very long lake, we call it, the reflecting lake, between the
reflecting lake?
Lincoln Monument.
Nope, we're definitely including this because he's like literally dying and decrepit.
Take a look at between Lincoln and Washington. We made the surface as good as it can be. It's really going to be beautiful. And now we're looking at the World War II fountain because that's also in pretty bad shape. On the bottom, we're going to duplicate it, I think, with the maybe with a slightly different color. Actually, we'll go with a lighter color. But Doug and I have a lot of fun doing it. Your staff is fantastic. They've really worked well. The memorial, if you take a look, the Lincoln Memorial, it was built, I guess, a little after the Lincoln Memorial.
What? The Lincoln Memorial, it was built, I guess, a little after the Lincoln Memorial. What?
The memorial, if you take a look, the Lincoln Memorial, it was built, I guess, a little after the Lincoln Memorial. It's embarrassing. It was so horrible.
for the 5 gifted
I never saw
memberships.
anything like it. It
Appreciate you,
was filthy
Leah.
dirty. It was Biden. And they
It was
spent,
Biden.
between the two of them, they spent hundreds of millions of dollars. That was a contribution that I made. Great success.
Yes, sir.
Including Venezuela, you might talk.
Absolutely, sir. I think actually your efforts on the reflecting pool are actually a great segue. If you look at Washington and Lincoln, these are two men that faced monumental tasks and stood up in historic fashion and delivered for the American people. And when you step back and look at 47 years of what Iran waged war against us and our people, there's only one man over the course of both presidents.
You know, when I think of great American presidents, it's George Washington, it's Abraham Lincoln, it's Donald Trump. What the fuck, dude?
The memorial.
The war with the cartels through the America's Counter Cartel Coalition. Venezuela is a big part of securing our energy future and defending the homeland. And then I just want we're going to war with the cartels.
Mr. President.
Economic system.
Sir, on the economy, two words: resilience and prosperity.
Oh my God. Yep, gonna keep that because they live in a different fucking reality. That's gonna be the whole point of this video, is that these people live in a different fucking reality.
Hit new highs. The stock market lives in the future. It is seeing.
And we have one in particular.
For the what I believe.
This place is looking beautiful. I rode through it yesterday. Where the fences are down. The homeless aren't staying here any longer. We're helping them out, but we're not.
Yeah, helping them out, bro. You rounded up all of the homeless people in Washington, D.C. and shipped them to a concentration camp in Utah. That's not a joke. Hold on. Homeless people concentration camp in Utah. Yeah. Trump-backed forced treatment for homeless people. Utah shows the challenges. Yeah, they moved 1,300 homeless people to a campus on the edge of Salt Lake City. Yeah, it's a concentration camp. You took all the homeless people and put them in a concentration camp. The fuck? I guess we'll keep this. I think we got to keep that one.
And the restaurants were closing up. There weren't very many restaurants, and now they're opening up. You can't get a space.
Give me a reaction. Yeah, hold on. Let me give you a reaction. Says he loves war. He loves war. He loves war. How about this one? There you go.
And everyone's going out to dinner and they're safe. And we have the national security. We have the National Guard, and we're going to keep them. You know, I want to, by the way, just in case I mentioned, keep them. And don't lower the number either. Absolutely. Somebody said, oh, are there less? I said, I hope not, but don't lower the number if you don't mind, okay?
We're going to surge this summer, too.
Yeah. They look great.
We're going to surge this summer?
You know what? They give people, we took out 5,000 criminals, hardcore criminals. By the way, 90% of the crime.
President, Iran wants control of the Strait of Hormuz. Would you accept a short-term deal that allows Iran and Oman to control the strait? And would they have to open it immediately, or would you be open to that happening over a period of time?
No, the strait's going to be open to everybody.
And who would control it?
It's international waters. Nobody's going to control it. We're going to
So
watch
the way it was on February 27th?
Nobody's going to control it. That's part of the negotiation that we have. They would like to control it. Nobody's going to control it. It's international water.
Thank you for the $50 donation, Leah Smith. I really appreciate that. Biggest donor of the day. Massive W. W. Leah.
Everybody else, so we'll have to blow them up.
Mr. President, Iran wants control.
Include that one.
It's international waters and economics.
U.S. concerns
considering easing sanctions on Iran to allow Iran to sell its crude to market?
No, we're not talking about any easing of sanctions.
You already lifted sanctions on Iran, you lying bastard, and you've part of the deal was potentially giving them $100 billion worth of their sanctions back. This motherfucker actually doesn't know what's going on whatsoever within the Department of War, within the peace negotiations. He actually has no idea what is going on.
Of the talks with Iran, I guess if it were a football field, what yard line would you be on?
Well, I think we're doing very well. I think are starting to give us the things that they have to give us, and if they do, that's great. And if they won't, then the man on my left is going to finish them off.
State of the talks with
All right, so another threat of nuclear annihilation.
I see, we've been doing this for a few months. When you think of it,
Ask about the World Cup, if I could.
Rowena Ortiz with Turning Point USA.
The left Democrats' priorities when they decide to go out there, remove the barricade, and then you have one of the senators complain.
I was invited. I would like to have the countries we were talking about, with Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, and the other.
That one as well. I think that's it, unless there's like one or two more little clips. Oh, let's see. Let's see the link that Nelson put together. Put this in quotes. Put this in quotes and put an arrow pointed towards Pete. And if you want to do that, tuck that actually in the corner. Tuck this like actually all the way in the corner. But I love it. Good work. Oh, I see. You were blocking that. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I think that's perfect. Make that arrow red. Dude, this is what it must be like to have an AI that takes voice commands. And move He Loves War a little bit to the right. Move He Loves War just a tad bit to the right. Yeah, I think that's perfect. And turn the arrow so it's pointing from Trump to Pete, not from the text to Pete. Make it go from Trump to Pete. Yeah. 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 That's perfect. Now, make my balls 40 times the size that they are. All right. We're good. Holy shit. Oh my God. Okay. Get rid of my balls. Get rid of the balls. Get rid of the balls, please. And change the font of Pete Kegsbreath. I'll show the chat here. Change that font from whatever that is. That looks too cute. You know, it needs to be a little bit more fascist. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's good. That's good. I will take it. Downloading. Episode 458. All right. All right, y'all ready to kirk in? and rewatch some of these clips. I'm gonna fill up my coffee real quick. Kirk in. We're gonna rewatch some of these clips and we're gonna make a video. You gotta blur your curls. What is my curls? I have to blur my curls? What does that mean? I could gain access by copy and pasting in Google. Yeah, gain access to what? Gain access to what? The fucking YouTube video I have here? Who gives a shit? I don't know how to blur your URLs. Is that a thing I can do? No, the docu-tussy? Oh. Oh, I have to do that afterwards? Is this like a big deal? I'll ask Ubby. Let me go fill up my coffee. I'll ask Ubby. We Are Charlie Kirk is crazy. We Are Charlie Kirk is nuts. Luigi, you're doing little flips. Doing little flips. You want everyone to see you? I'll show you off. I'll show you off while you do your little flips. Do a flip again. What, your camera shy? Yep. Do another flip. Doing flips, flippy floppies. You sliding over here. Weenie. Come here, Mama. Come here. No? You got things to do and places to be? Come here. All right. What a cute little girly. What a cute little girly pop. Small change. I'm gonna look at it. Oh yeah, I'll take that. Okay. All right, let's make a video. Let's make a video. Y'all ready? Y'all kirked in? Y'all kirked in? We're gonna make a video. We're gonna try to make it quick. We're gonna try to make it quick. You ready? Here we go. 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 Chris, your webcam? What about my webcam? What's wrong with my webcam? Hold on. Let me stop recording. What's wrong with the webcam? It's dirty? Is that better? Weenie. Jack just said to check her ears for mites. Because she looks like she's scratching her ears. Okay. I'll check her ears. Weenie, come here. I gotta check your ears. I'll check them later. I'll check her ears later. If you turn on your lighting, I'll give you $10. What do you mean turn on my lighting? What are you talking about? I have a light there. I have a light there. My lights are on. You talking about last night's lighting? Last night's lighting had to do with the lighting outside. It didn't have to do with the lighting in here. All right. I'm sure she's fine. Let me get one little look at her ears. Weenie, stay. Stay. Let me get a look in your ear. Let me look in your ear. All right, I don't see anything in her ears. And plus, she doesn't scratch her ears often. All right, all right, all right. All right, y'all ready? Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Y'all ready? All right, here we go. Hi, Luigi. Trump just had a... Hold on. Chris, are you going to Delaney Hall? No. All right, here we go. Trump just had a disastrous cabinet. You know, I might have something wrong with me. Let's try one more time. Here we go. Trump just had a completely disastrous cabinet meeting, and it was all live streamed, and I've got some of the best clips together. There was a point where he went on an 8.5-minute long rant about the Lincoln reflecting pool, you know, like the vanity project he's so obsessed with, and it was so long that Pete Hegseth had to like cut him off and be like, that's a great transition, Mr. President. Let's talk about the Iran war. Absolutely mind-boggling. Look how many fucking clips I have for you. Don't worry, they're all relatively short. I'm just gonna let them speak for you. You know, you could just take it out of the horse's mouth for how absolutely diabolically disastrous this cabinet meeting is. But before we watch it, I just want to give you a quick recap of where we're at right now. We were teetering on the edge of having some sort of a peace deal with Iran. Granted, the terms, it was the best we could do, it would be an American surrender. It would be the Iranians permanently control the Strait of Hormuz. They will maintain tolling ships that pass through it. Israel must cease its invasion of Lebanon. America must give up all of its bases. We got to give Iran hundreds of billions of dollars worth of their own money that we illegally sanctioned. Like, it's a terrible deal, but the longer we drag on this war, the worse the deal is going to get. You have to understand like what's going on here, which is whatever deal Donald is offered is the best deal he's going to get until and the next one will be worse and worse and worse. You see, like the best outcome right now would be for Trump to just hold that fucking L, take this big, fat, juicy L, accept defeat, tuck his tail between his legs, and retreat. But he can't fucking do that. So that's where we're at. And then on top of that, on Memorial Day, we resumed strikes. We started bombing Iran again, right? And that was a complete violation of the ceasefire. It terminated the entire peace deal. So we are the aggressors in the situation. And on top of that, Israel blatantly said you had Itamar Ben-Gvir and Netanyahu saying that they will not allow Donald Trump to move forward with this peace deal, which is what I have been saying for months, but now the Israelis are actually saying it with their chest. So that's where we're at. We're going to dive in. We're going to watch a lot of this. Before we do, I just want to remind you, this is real independent media. My name is Chris Valenti. Welcome to the Valenti VOD. This is not online media. This is independent media. You have never seen me do an ad read or take a sponsorship or have a billionaire or a government or a PAC or any of that shit, right? This is real independent media. I don't do ad reads, which means I do not make a lot of money on this channel. So if you do want to help me out financially, there's a couple of ways you can. You could buy merch, like the posters behind me. You can buy merch like the mugs and the hoodies and all that. You can click the thanks button down below to tip me directly. You can click the join button down below to become a member of the channel. That'll give you access to member-only content. And then you can become a patron on Patreon. You can donate $1 a month, $5 a month, $10 a month, whatever you want. I want to let you know I am going to start posting all of my videos on Patreon right after they're posted on YouTube. That way, for free, by the way. That way you can watch them without the YouTube ads, okay? Because it doesn't matter whether you're a member here. It doesn't matter. You still have to watch the YouTube ads unless you have YouTube Premium. So thank you very much. Also, please like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Do that now. Like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Do that now. Costs you nothing, helps me immensely. I do see a lot of chatters talking about my audio, so I'm going to refer to my mods real quick. Moderators, let me know if there's something wrong with my audio and I'll fix it. Sometimes people in different nations have, different, I don't know, like ping issues, so the audio is a little bit fucked up. But regardless, let's dive in and start watching this disastrous fucking cabinet meeting. So we're starting here at the tail end. I watched the entire thing live, which is why you got to tune into the live streams. But I want to start off with the tail end here and then go through the clips, because this part here at the very end that Trump says before he's like, all right, guys, thank you very much, is the most important part.
The Knicks have really suffered for years.
Not that part about the Knicks. Go Knicks.
What's your prediction? They're doing right now.
Would you accept an agreement with Iran that just calls for further talks on the uranium, or is the only option in your mind one for?
I would for some of it, because it's a memorandum of understanding for speed. One of the things that will happen is the strait will open immediately. But it's.
What does this mean? One of the things you'll see happen is the strait will open immediately. That's saying that, like, by the time this fucking meeting ends, the strait will open. It's so stupid.
Got to be perfect. I'm not going to do this. I didn't do this to get a crummy agreement. The worst agreement ever signed was by Barack Hussein Obama. What a horrible agreement that was.
The JCPOA was an incredible agreement, and the agreement, the peace deal that you are getting offered to you by the Iranians, is far, far, far fucking worse than the JCPOA.
It was a setback for this country, for the whole world. The Middle East would have blown itself up. No, I would like to have the countries we were talking about, with Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, and the others. We'd like to have
the others, meaning Iran. He literally called for Iran. What he's about to say is join the Abraham Accords. He is calling for the entire Arab world to become allies with Israel.
Them immediately join and Steve Witkoff is working on that with Jared and some others, but would like to have them join the Abraham Accords. It'll be historic if they do it.
On the list of things that are never gonna fucking happen, that's on the top of the list, is the Arab world, including the Islamic Republic of Iran, signing the Abraham Accords and becoming allies with fucking Israel.
I think they owe that to us, to be honest. I think, because that really would be a tremendous sign. And I think those countries owe it to us.
Mr. President.
Steve, are you going to get them to sign?
We're definitely pushing it, Mr. President.
I'm not sure we should make the deal if they don't sign. You want to know the truth?
If the Arab world, if Iran and Qatar and the UAE, if the entire Arab world doesn't become allies of Israel, I will keep on bombing Iran. Brother, I know I say this a lot, but like it has never been more abundantly clear that Israel has videos of Donald Trump raping children in a vault in Tel Aviv. Because what the fuck do you mean? Oh, it is contingent. This entire plan, it hangs on a thread that if the Arab world does not become allies with Israel, we just can't have peace. Why? Why? What the fuck does that have to do with me? What the fuck does that have to do with America? What the fuck, dude? It's just so abundantly clear that he's a blackmailed pedophile.
If they don't sign to join the Abraham Accords, I don't know that we have countries in there already. UAE, great countries, bold countries, and it's turned out to be so good, so effective.
For Israel.
So we're, requesting strongly that they join. It'll be great. It'll be great for Saudi Arabia. It'll be great for Qatar and Kuwait.
All vassal states of the United States Empire.
So the Iran deal might be contingent on more countries joining the Accords.
I don't want to say that. I'm not going to give you, what's...
You just said that.
Contingent, what's not.
You just said, if they don't sign it, then I don't want to have a peace deal. That is the definition of being contingent.
I can say that we can make a good deal right now, but maybe not a great deal. And if it's not a great deal, we're not making it. So, because we can make a great deal with this guy right here. And, but it's, it's a lot nasty.
That was a reference to bombing the shit out of them. That's why I pointed to Pete Kegsbreath, the alcoholic Secretary of War Crimes.
Probably wouldn't go as quickly. We wouldn't be talking about it as quickly, but it would be foolproof. But I think we're doing very well, Steve. I think we're doing pretty well in terms of the negotiation, but we'll see. If it's not going to be a real deal, because Obama had that horrible JCPOA, whatever it was the worst deal. It was a path for Iran to have a nuclear weapon very quickly. Years ago.
It was the complete and total opposite. They gave up 25,000 pounds of highly enriched uranium. You are fighting a war and losing to get rid of 900 pounds of moderately enriched uranium. You fucking baboon.
No, they would have had a nuclear weapon. We might not be here talking about it right now.
You promise?
They would have had a nuclear weapon. And frankly, Obama picked the wrong country. He should have picked another country. I won't tell you what it was.
Why?
But he picked the wrong country when he picked Iran. But we have things understood now with Iran. It's been nasty. They've lost their leaders. They've lost. And it really is regime change. We didn't set out for regime change. But by the fact that we're dealing with a totally different group of people than we were at the beginning. And frankly, I find them to be much more reasonable. I actually find them to be smarter, but I find them to be much more reasonable. This is regime change.
First of all, you started off this entire war saying that we are not seeking regime change, okay? Second of all, this isn't regime change. It is the exact same Iranian Islamic regime in charge. Regime change would be replacing their government with like a pro-America government or a pro-Israel government. You have not even achieved regime change, and even if you had, that still wouldn't have been a good thing. You are not even seeking regime change. You're seeking a failed state. You don't want it to be a pro-America government. You want the entire government to collapse. You want people to be murdering each other in the street. You want open slave markets. That's what you want.
One regime is gone, another regime is gone. We're dealing with the third. Pieces of it, because some of them are gone too. And I find them, I think, how can you have a stronger regime change than that, you know? So I do find that. I'd like to thank you all very much.
And then that said, then he ends the meeting. But don't worry, we got clips from earlier. Okay, I do think it is very convenient that he tied that into the bitter end where nobody could ask any follow-up question. He goes, "All right, guys, thank you very much." But now we're gonna go through some of the craziest fucking moments. Here's Trump confusing Venezuela and Iran.
I don't call it a war. I call it a conflict. Despite the conflict with Venezuela, who no longer has a navy, no longer has an air force, no longer has a lot of people that were leading the country into very bad places.
Oh my God.
Their leadership is gone.
This motherfucker has waged so many wars that he is confusing them.
Their second rung leadership is gone, and we're dealing with their third, half of their third, because half of their third is gone too.
More. Here is him blatantly saying, and every single Democrat needs to put this on a fucking advertisement. Here's him saying that he just doesn't care about the midterms, which we can tell.
Economic system is broken down. They thought they were going to outweight me. You know, we'll outweight him. He's got the midterms. I don't care about the midterms. Look what happened last night. That was.
Look at Pete's face when he says that.
Happened last. I don't care about the midterms. Look what happened last.
They're like, "Sir, you can't say that."
That was the prelude to the midterms.
He's talking about Ken Paxton winning, the most pro-pedophilia candidate in American history. That's not even a joke. Ken Paxton actually pardoned a guy who committed like years of child rape. He was sentenced to 60 years in prison. He only served 13 months because of Ken Paxton. More.
We're doing really equally as well with, but again, people don't want to write about it, with Iran. Iran is very much intent. They want very much to make a deal. So far, they haven't gotten there. We're not satisfied.
Really, then why has Iran turned down the peace deal? Why have they said that they're not even going to consider negotiating nuclear weaponry or nuclear enrichment with the United States of America? Why have they vowed vengeance for the illegal strike we committed on Memorial Day?
With it, but no, we will be. We will be either that or we'll have to just finish the job.
That means bomb them to smithereens.
But their Navy is gone, as I've said 1,000 times.
Wrong.
Their Navy is gone. Their Air Force is gone.
Wrong.
Everything's gone, and they're negotiating on fumes.
What?
We'll see what happens. Maybe we have to go back and finish it. Maybe we don't. Right now, I mean, you can speak to Steve Witkoff and Jared. They're doing a good job. But right now, I think it looks like they want to just make a deal. They want to. They have. I don't think they have a choice. They're just going.
No, that's you, Donald. You are begging them for a deal. You don't have a choice.
Back to the internet because they're getting clobbered. Their economy is in free fall.
Real quick, chatter, just say, can we talk about Jasmine Crockett? Yeah, no, I mean, listen, I've said it before. I never fucking trusted Jasmine Crockett. She is endorsing a Zionist. She is paid by AIPAC. She is a complete fucking traitor. Jasmine Crockett can suck my fucking dick from taint to tip. All right, back to it.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio, another one. I mean, we have great people. And the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, Central Casting. He loves war. I don't like that.
He loves war.
He loves war. I don't like that.
He loves war. And by the way, this is the guy who wants to be president in 2028. Pete Hegseth is going to run for president in 2028. He loves war.
War. I don't like that.
And they all fucking laugh. And we're talking about the deaths of, like, children. 165 little girls that were triple tapped at their fucking school by this man. And watch them laugh.
War. I don't like that. He loves war. I don't like that. He's a good man, that one.
Fucking disgusting.
And Scott, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, another one. I mean,
more. Here's Trump saying that we don't need oil and we don't need the Strait.
Like that. We don't need oil. We don't need the Strait. We don't need anything. But
then why the fuck are we doing this?
We have more oil now being produced by 2 times than Russia and Saudi Arabia combined.
Well, that's not true.
Like that. We don't need oil. We don't need the.
All right, now this dude, these people actually live in a different fucking reality than us. Wait till you hear this fucking clip from Doug Burgum. He's the Secretary of the Interior. He's the guy who was like designing the Arc de Trump and the fucking memorial pool and the ballroom. Watch this.
You know, it's been really incredible. And of course, you mentioned Venezuela, but all that flowing to our Gulf Coast refineries is also helping to keep the price of gas down at home.
Is keeping the price of gas down? Where? Where the fuck is it keeping the price of gas down? I'm telling you, these people genuinely live in a different fucking reality than us.
Gulf Coast refineries is also helping to keep the price of gas down at home. So again, it's an amazing transformation.
Jesus fucking Christ. More. Here's Trump calling the Lincoln reflecting pool a lake.
And we have one in particular, a very long lake, we call it, the reflecting lake. Between
the reflecting lake? What the fuck are you talking about?
The Lincoln Monument. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. You take a look at between Lincoln and Washington, you have the longest, like 2,400 feet long. That's longer than the tallest building in the world if you set it on the side. And we have one in particular, a very long lake.
All right, here's Pete Hegseth comparing Donald Trump to Abraham Lincoln and George Washington. And I'd like to point out, look at him. Look at how fucking hideous this fat, dying piglet really is. He's so fucking gross, dude.
Great success. Yes, sir.
Including Venezuela, you might talk.
Absolutely, sir. I think actually your efforts on the reflecting pool are actually...
So this was after his 8.5-minute long rant about the reflecting pool, and then Pete Hegseth uses this to transition into comparing him to like some of the most famous and best American presidents of all time.
A great segue. If you look at Washington and Lincoln, these are two men that faced monumental tasks and stood up in historic fashion and delivered for the American people. And when you step back and look at 47 years of what Iran waged war against us and our people, there's only one man over the course of both presidency who has stood up and said they will never...
Yeah, there was only one man who was stupid enough to actually fight Israel's war for them, even though Israel approached every single president since 1948 asking them to go to war with Iran. You, mein Führer, were the only one stupid enough to fall for it.
Get a nuclear weapon, as Marco said. So whether it was Qasem Soleimani, whether it was scrapping the Obama deal that was going to give him a weapon, whether it was the 12-day war or Operation Midnight Hammer, you created the conditions to ensure...
Brother is bent over an oil barrel right now, spreading open his puckered little asshole, going, "Please fuck me, Daddy Don."
The American people and the world are safeguarded from this generational threat.
Jesus fucking Christ, bro. More. Now we've got, they're announcing another war. So just so you know, we have labeled all of the cartels as terrorist organizations so that we don't need congressional approval to go to war with them. This is how Trump invades the entirety of the global South.
We're going to war with the cartels through the America's Counter Cartel Coalition. Venezuela is a big part of securing our energy future and defending the homeland.
We're going to war with the cartels. Great. So the invasion of Mexico is now imminent. More here.
Sir, on the economy, 2 words: resilience and prosperity.
Oh, is that what you guys are feeling? Resilience and prosperity?
Even during the Iran...
We go back.
Sir, on the economy, 2 words: resilience and prosperity. The continued resilience of the economy speaks for itself, even during the Iran conflict, and it speaks to the strength of your leadership. Pro-growth policies are creating conditions for American families and businesses to prosper.
Who is prospering?
Entering the second half of our 250th anniversary year with renewed optimism and momentum. It has never been a better time to be an American, and as you said earlier, we have a record number of Americans working.
Holy shit,
The economy that you are building is not only strong, but secure and resilient and better positioned to compete.
Make sure you cup the
globally.
balls, too,
Real
Scott.
GDP has risen 2.7%
Cup
over
the
the
balls.
past 4 quarters, something that many economists said couldn't be done. In the first quarter of 2026, despite the Iran conflict, GDP grew at a 2% annual rate. The Atlanta Fed GDP now is predicting 4.3% for this quarter. In terms of prices, I believe the prices are transitory. Oil will be lower than pre-conflict levels when this ends. Natural gas is already down, as you mentioned. Drug and pharmaceutical prices, they are plummeting and rent is down.
Rent is down? Dude, it's actually impressive how Scott Bessent doesn't get teary-eyed and have his mascara running down his cheeks while he is sucking Donald Trump's cock all the way down. All the way to the fucking balls. He's sucking his orange crunchy dick. Dude, Scott Bessent has got to be top 10 cucks of all fucking time.
And this place is looking beautiful. I rode through it yesterday, where the fences are down. The homeless aren't staying here any longer.
Yeah, that's because you literally got all of the homeless people from Washington, D.C., and you forced them into a concentration camp in Utah. This is a real thing. I covered this months ago. State lawmakers declined to back a Trump-inspired plan to move 1,300 homeless people to a campus on the edge of Salt Lake City. Literally a concentration camp for the homeless. Utah proposal to move 1,300 homeless people to a campus on the outskirts of Salt Lake City. By the way, this is so far away that these people would die if they tried to walk back to civilization. Many to face forced treatment for addiction or mental illness has been set aside amid fears about cost, civil liberties, and inadequate planning for a site that critics call a detention camp. It's a fucking concentration camp. All right, more. Here's Trump announcing that they are going to surge more National Guard troops to Washington, D.C. over the summer. This is because we are a fascist authoritarian regime and they need to show the image of force, the image of strength.
We have the National Guard, and we're going to keep them. You know, I want to, by the way, just in case I mentioned, keep them. Okay? And don't lower the number either. So somebody said, oh, are there less? I said, I hope not, but don't lower the number if you don't mind, okay?
We're going to surge this summer, too. Yeah.
They
We're going to surge
great.
this summer.
You know what? They give people. We took out 5,000 criminals, hardcore criminals. By the way, 90% of the crime is calculated. They calc 2% of the people.
They calc. Calc is short for calculator, chat, in case you didn't know. All right, more. Here's Trump saying that he wants to go back to where we were before Operation Epstein's Fury, that the new goal of the war is to get back to where we were before we started the war. So quite literally just saying that the entire war was useless.
Mr. President, Iran wants control of the Strait of Hormuz.
Iran has control of the Strait of Hormuz, you dumb bitch.
Would you accept a short-term deal that allows Iran and Oman to control the strait? And would they have to open it immediately, or would you be open to that happening over a period of time?
No, the strait's going to be open to everybody.
And who would control it?
It's international waters. Nobody's going to control it. We're going to watch over it. We'll watch over it, but nobody's going to control it. That's part of the negotiation that we have. They would like to control it. Nobody's going to control it. It's international waters.
So you mean the way it was on February 27th, before you started Operation Epstein's Fury?
Oman will behave just like everybody else, so we'll have to blow them up.
Mr. President, Iran wants control of the Strait.
More. Here's Trump saying that we're not even considering easing sanctions or giving money, despite the fact that the United States of America has already lifted Iranian oil sanctions, and Trump is contemplating giving them $100 billion worth of their illegally sanctioned funds.
The U.S. considering easing sanctions on Iran to allow Iran to sell its crude to market?
No, we're not talking about any easing of sanctions.
See, he actually has no idea what the peace deal is. He has no idea.
So giving money, no sanctions, no money, no nothing. We have control of money that they claim is theirs. We'll keep control of that money. And when they behave properly and when they do what's right, we'll let them have their money. But right now, we're not doing that, and it's not, one thing is not contingent on the other.
Would you say the U.S. considering easing sanctions on Iran?
More. Now we have Trump saying that if Iran doesn't make concessions, we are going to annihilate them with nuclear weapons.
State of the talks with Iran, I guess if it were a football field, what yard line would you be on?
Well, I think we're doing very well. I think are starting to give us the things that they have to give us, and if
they have not given us a single concession.
They do, that's great, and if they won't, then the man on my left is going to finish them off.
The man on my left, that's Secretary of War Crimes Pete Hegseth, is going to finish them off. Just so you understand what that means, you cannot, quote unquote, finish off Iran. That's a 93 million people strong nation. You could attempt to do that, but it would require between 10 and 15 nuclear weapons. That is now the 12th time Trump has threatened to nuke Iran. All right, now he's talking about the anti-ICE protests that went on in New Jersey.
Thank you so much. Rowena Ortiz with Turning Point USA. I have one question.
Turning Point USA, you dumb fucking cunt.
Thank you so much. Rowena Ortiz with Turning Point USA. I have one question for you and one question for Vice President J.D. Vance on fraud. What's your message to the New Jersey leaders pushing back against ICE operations at Delaney Hall? And
About ICE?
Yes.
Or about NICE, as I call it, NICE. The NICE facility. I'd love to change the name, call it NICE. They do a great job, and it's all paid for protesters. You know, you can see by the signs. The signs are all made by the same beautiful factory. It's
Oh, you're right. When I went to that anti-ICE protest, it was because I got paid $50 million from Nancy Pelosi, believe it or not.
printing plant. In fact, I'm thinking about using it. They do such a nice job. These aren't protesters. These people are fake. They're all paid for.
See, here's the thing. He actually believes that, too. He believes that literally anybody who is protesting against him and his fascist regime is actually paid to do it. Yeah, and that's because these people cannot imagine a reality in which they are not being paid for their political beliefs. You know what I'm saying? That's why the right wing is always like, they got to be paid protesters. Because they literally are being paid to stand for the beliefs, the dog shit beliefs that they have. All of them are literally paid by the GOP. They can't fucking believe it. More. Here's Mark Wayne Mullen, the new head of Department of Homeland Security, talking about a senator who got a New Jersey senator who got shot in the face with a pepper ball.
Now, ICE has to go out there, remove the barricade, and then you have one of the senators complain because he got splattered with a pepper ball. I'm sorry, you probably shouldn't have been there.
Ah, okay. So when the mass Gestapo Nazis start shooting our elected officials in the fucking face, it's not their fault, the Nazis. It's actually the fault of our elected officials for even being there in the first place. Got it. 10-4, Mark Wayne, you fucking racist piece of shit. All right.
I would like to have the countries we were talking about.
Oh, we already watched
Saudi Arabia, UAE.
This is Trump talking about people joining the Abraham Accords. Shout out to Aaron Rupar for gathering all of these links on Twitter. Make sure you follow Aaron Rupar. And then the last two things I wanted to touch on real quick. I just wanted to show you the future of warfare here. This is a 450 mile per hour drone. $450 miles per hour this fucking thing reaches.
It's moving fast.
Just wait. Now it's gonna take off. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Jesus fucking Christ. Jesus fucking Christ. Jesus fucking Christ.
730.
730 kilometers per hour. That's, what is that, 450 miles per hour? Now I want you to, this is one drone. I want you to imagine like hive mind swarm technology with bombs and guns on it, bro. With automated targeting systems. Like, the future of warfare, the next great big war, like the World War III, is going to be so unimaginably horrifying that I genuinely don't believe we have the vocabulary to even verbalize it. It is going to be so unbelievably horrifying. Jesus fucking Christ. And speaking of horrifying, I have a video of the Russian hypersonic missile that landed in Kyiv, I believe, the other night in Ukraine. The Russians are now resorting to hypersonics. Get a look.
Russia launching a huge drone and missile attack on Ukraine's capital city of Kyiv overnight. The Ukrainian...
These hypersonic missiles move so fast that you quite literally cannot shoot them down.
President Volodymyr Zelensky says the Russians used a hypersonic ballistic missile during the assault, killing at least 2 people and damaging a number of buildings.
You attach a nuclear warhead to a hypersonic missile, and it is quite literally like an unavoidable nuclear strike. Good luck shooting down a hypersonic fucking missile.
Russia called it retaliation for recent Ukrainian strikes in Russian territory.
Yeah, meanwhile, the Russian territory they're talking about is Luhansk, which was formerly Ukrainian territory. This is just the U.S. We are Russia, bro. We're like, oh, this is retaliatory strikes, despite the fact that we're the ones who started the fucking war in the first place. But just one more look at this blast. Jesus
Russia
Christ.
launching a huge drone and missile attack on Ukraine's...
Jesus fucking Christ. Nightmare shit. And I love how, like, we never even mentioned the fact that there's a whole ass land war going on in Europe right now. It's like, it's actually hard to even think about that there's a fucking massive land war with like at least 35,000 dead soldiers every single month going on in Europe. There's a massive war going on in the Middle East. We're about to start a war with Cuba. We got military operations all over the global south. You got Trump threatening Greenland. Like, oh my God, dude, we live in a period of just complete and total chaos. It's fucking crazy. Anyway, thank you very much for tuning into the Valenti VOD. If you're here live, you stay. We got to keep going. If you're watching this pre-recorded on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And do me a solid, share this video in your group chat with all your dumbass friends. Helps me a lot. Do me one last favor. Click that video right over there. It's a banger, and I know bangers. That's a banger if I've ever seen a banger. That's a banger if I've ever seen a banger. Have you ever seen a banger? I've seen a banger. That's a banger if I've ever seen a banger. All right. Trump has absolutely no idea what's going on anymore. Excuse me. My two sons are MAGAs. I really feel like I failed as a mother. You might have. Oops. I have sneezed and shit my pants at the same time. I have. I text them every day except people over profits. That's what's coming. Listen, you know, maybe it was rude of me to say you might have, but I just, listen, I don't have sympathy anymore for MAGA people. I don't. I don't. I think, you know, unfortunately, listen, if they're grown adults, they got to make their own fucking decisions. They're 39 and 41, no hope. Yeah, no, they're grown adults, man. There's nothing you could do. You can't teach an old dog new tricks, you know. Can't teach an old dog new tricks. All right, let's see. Public, publish. Trump just had a completely disaster. Confirm. All right, let's make an advertisement for those videos. Then I gotta go. I gotta be at the gym in like 15 minutes. My oldest son pulled a gun on me in an argument about Trump. Oh. Oh, okay, yeah, no, you should, listen, I'm gonna give you some actual advice here, and I do mean this literally. You should never speak to your children again, at least that one. Like, for your own safety, you should block that child. You should never speak to that person ever again, dude. Your own child pulled a gun on you because of your disloyalty to Donald Trump. Brother, but I raised two of his kids. I love them all. He's gonna kill you. You understand that, right? He pulled a gun on you. He's going to kill you. That's no longer your child. Holy fuck. That's fucking scary. That's fucking horrifying. That's crazy, dude. All right, let me make an advertisement. All right. So the Trump cabinet literally lives in a different fucking reality than us. They just had like a live streamed cabinet meeting. Oh, I have a big booger. Let me start that again. So the Trump cabinet lives in a completely different reality than us peasants. The Trump cabinet just did a live stream where you literally had people like Doug Burgum being like, we're really bringing down the cost of gasoline here at home, sir, and it's all because of you. You had Donald Trump slapping Pete Hegseth on the arm going, this guy loves war, huh? He really loves war, and everybody's laughing. Yeah, no, it's really funny. It's great that the alcoholic Secretary of War Crimes decided to triple tap an all-girls children's school and annihilate 165 little girls and then wait for the paramedics to try to pull the rest of the girls out of the rubble and then bomb them and then wait for the other paramedics to come in and pull those paramedics out of the rubble and then bomb them. Yeah, no, it's great. You also had Trump threaten nuclear annihilation of Iran again. That's fantastic. You had them talking about the fact that a New Jersey senator got shot in the face with a pepper ball outside of Delaney Hall's ICE detention center in New Jersey, and Mark Wayne Mullen, the fascist Secretary of Homeland Security, said, well, maybe if he wasn't there, he wouldn't have been shot in the face. Yeah, no, because the blame doesn't land on the mass Gestapo LARPing fat-bodied fascists. No, it lands on our elected representative who, he committed the heinous crime of going to the ICE detention facility, and that's why he got shot in the face. That's something. Then you got Donald Trump just claiming that the Iranians are, like, begging him for a ceasefire, which is hilarious because they quite literally aren't. They're like, go ahead, keep on waging war. We're already fucking you up your ass. The Iranians have Donald Trump bent over a fucking oil barrel, and they are fucking him up his asshole. That is what is going on, because this incompetent, dumb, pedophile, fat piece of shit, fucking tangerine tyrant does not know what's going on. He doesn't get any fucking updates, dude. He doesn't know anything. He's like, no, we're not going to be making any sort of deal with them where the Iranians control the Strait of Hormuz. No, that's not even on the table. That's literally part of the peace terms, is that the Iranians maintain control over the Strait of Hormuz. This guy doesn't know what's going on. He's not in charge. He is simply a puppet for that cabinet, bro. He is a bumbling, dying, decrepit, dotard, pedophile fuck, and he has no idea what is going on. I have a whole new YouTube video. We watched the best moments. I also watched it live, but we watched the best moments of this cabinet meeting. We're absolutely fuck-walkied, gang. Like, I wish that I had the words to give you hope, but like, listen, I'm a revolutionary optimist, and I'm always gonna believe that the right thing will end up happening, but like, it is becoming increasingly more realistic that the United States of America as a nation literally will not exist by the year 2036. It will not fucking exist, which honestly will be a great thing for humanity. The United States of America is the worst nation on planet Earth. We have caused more bloodshed, we have killed more people, we have committed more war crimes than any nation in human fucking history. You know, sometimes I'm proud to call myself an American because of the things that we used to stand for, but nowadays I'm fucking disgusted to have to call myself an American. New YouTube video, go check it out. All right. Let's get that uploaded. Get that uploading, you. All right, I have to be at the gym in 10 minutes. So I'm gonna end the live stream while I get these uploaded. I like Hamza. He's good. He's a young guy though. All right, guys. I'm out of here. I gotta go to the gym. I gotta get these uploaded. I gotta be there in 10 minutes. I gotta multitask. Thank you very much for tuning into the Valenti VOD. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. It costs you nothing, helps me immensely. Do me one last favor. You sound far away. It's because I moved the mic. I'm out of here, guys. I'm out of here. Thank you. Thank you. Love you. Bye.